Life can bring us storms. Those moments where we wander, wonder, doubt. The journey doesn't stop, but the progress does. It can be lonely, painful. Sometimes we try to stare it down, as if we could somehow will it to go away. Or we think we can go toe to toe and come out the other side, unscathed. We often forget just how small we are. The truth is, storms are inevitable. But when they appear, we have a protector, a savior who knows a thing or two about calming storms. A God who is a stronghold in times of trouble. In our weakness, He is strong. In our fear, He is courage. In our desperation, He is peace. Yes, storms are inevitable. But our God is invincible.
Hey, everyone. Hey. We have been doing a lot of talking about living a life of purpose. We've been talking about fear. We've been talking about uncertainty. And I know that over the past few days, I have given you a lot to think about, a lot to journal about, a lot to implement in your lives. And so today, on the 100 Days of Purpose, for those of you that don't know, that's what this is 100 Days of Purpose. We are going to kind of just sit back and kind of just talk, okay? We're just going to talk about purpose and get real, because it's purpose, right? It's purpose. And when you look up those words, when you look up the meaning of words that we use, sometimes we use them and we know what they mean, but we don't take into consideration what they mean. We don't take into real depth what they mean, right? And how that plays out in our lives. And so I just want to take a little bit of time today to just kind of do a temperature check, right? Just kind of see where you're at. Because, we're on day 96. So we got 4 more days of this. And I know that things can get hectic, right? Things that you plan for don't always go well. They don't always turn out the way that you want them to turn out. And when they do turn out the way you want them to, you're always looking for that other shoe to drop, right? And so what do you do when you're truly trying to be a person of purpose? What do you do when things aren't going your way, when things are going your way, but you're always looking for that hiccup? You're always looking for that, that next time it's not going to pan out. And what I found is that when you are a person of purpose, let me just put it that way. When you are a person of purpose, it takes every minute of the day. It takes every breath within your body, every breath that you breathe. It takes every waking notion that you have to stay on that path. And like I said in the title, let's get real. It's purpose. It's purpose we're talking about. It's not some pie in the sky, this is what I wish, this is what I hope, this is what I aspire to. No, this is what you were made for. This is why you are here. This is why you breathe. This is why you're taking up space. And when you start to recognize that, when you start to realize that, you see that it's well above your vocation, it's well above your profession, it's well above your likes and dislikes and your selfish needs to be accepted, and your inability to deal with rejection. It's more than your fears, it's more than your loves, it's more than it's more than anything that you try to say is important. It's purpose. It's the meaning. It's the big why that everyone talks about. It's the why you exist. And you know what? Even if you don't go around saying, why do I exist? Why am I here? What's the purpose? Even if that's not a thought, if that's not even a bleep on your radar, right? What you have to understand is that whether you're aware of it or not, you are here for a reason. You are here for a reason. And whatever that reason is, there are individuals outside of you, individuals that need that reason to manifest. And so we can be selfish and say, well, I'm living for me and I'm doing me, and all of that sounds good. All of that feels good when you say it, right? I'm just doing me. I'm just living for me. I'm woo, 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 right? It feels, and it just makes you feel like, yeah, I'm taking control. But at the end of the day, boo, at the end of the day, dear heart, at the end of the day, love, none of that's true. None of it is true. We are all here to serve one another in one capacity or another. We're here as one unit. You are just a small piece in a larger puzzle. Your world is just a dust mite of the galaxy, of the universe. The lives that you are meant to touch is just a fraction of the lives that need to be touched. And so when you get into that, most times it's kind of overwhelming, and it's like, well, dang, what have I been doing with my life? If all that, no wonder I feel insignificant. No wonder I feel like, who cares? The answer to that question is, you're not insignificant. You're very significant. But you've got to know why you're significant. See, when you don't know why, when you don't explore the why, when you don't sit down and really tap into the why. You find that each day becomes more and more meaningless, and you begin to fade more and more into the background. And you were not created to be a background. You were created to be a foreground, but you are created to be the foreground in the lives of those who need you to shine, in the lives of those who need your wisdom, your knowledge, your expertise, your skill set. You were meant to work a job and to own a business and to have a family that all enhances who you are, not takes from who you are. I'm up in the mountains and I'm writing, getting ready for the relaunch of my books. They're going to be in printed form, in audible form, and in ebook form, right? And I'm adding some things because since I wrote the books, there are things that I've evolved and learned and elevated my thinking to, and it needs to be said. So if you have the book, if you were one of the few that got the book before, you may want to invest in this book because there's going to be more. I'm expounding on some things. Not a whole lot is changing, but there is some added value that I felt that needed to be added, because when I wrote Will You Be Made Whole, there's so much more revelation that has come to me about the woman with the issue of blood. And I can't put it all in this book, but I did expound a little bit, and I may have to write a second book about it because it's like that. There's so much more. Okay. So anyway, so I'm happy to be doing that. But in doing that, I came across something that I wrote, and it said, I believe it's in Start Strong, Finish Strong. And I wrote, you deserve to live a good life, but not the best life. See, the best life comes to you when you're willing to fight for it. It's not just handed to you. And many of us want it to be handed to us because I'm here and I've arrived and I should have the best of the best. But to get the best of the best, you've got to go after the best of the best. You've got to know what the best of the best looks like. And many of us don't have a clue what it looks like, let alone that we have to pursue it. But if you follow the great minds, if you follow those that have achieved excellence, they all talk about hard work. They all talk about the effort it took. They talk about the ups and the downs, the ins, the outs, the near misses and the failures. Because they recognize that if I'm going to be the best, I've got to eliminate everything that is not. One of my favorite games I used to love to watch when it came on was Deal or No Deal, right? Because there was something that Howie would say all the time to the contestants of that show, is that when they would hit and they would guess, and because they were opening up these cases, and the for those of you that are not familiar with Deal or No Deal, the concept is that you choose a case. At the beginning, you choose one case, and you're hoping that that case has the $1 million in it, or the $2 million, or whatever the highest number is. You're trying to do it. So it's a game of skill, logic. You gotta work it out, right? You gotta do some thinking. Game of chance. Some people say a game of luck, but and so these contestants would go on and they would choose a case, And then once they chose their case, then they had 20 or 25 other cases, because there was 26 total. They had 25 other cases that they would have to guess at. And they had this board that had all these numbers from 1 cent to whatever the highest is, right? And most times it was $1,000,000. And they would open up these cases, and sometimes they had to open up 6 cases. Sometimes they had to open up 4 cases, 3 cases. Then they started, when you got further into the game, one at a time. And every so often, after, your round of cases, you would open up 6 cases. And based on what was in those cases, right, the banker would come on and make you an offer, and you had to choose deal or no deal. And the thing was that they would look at the money that's on the board, and that's how they would determine whether they were going to take that deal or not. Now, most times when, the banker would start off, he would start off low, right? Unless you knocked out 6 of the highest numbers, and then he would, really go low. If you had, some of the higher numbers and you knocked out a lot of the lower numbers, he would go up a little bit more. And so you had to see what you had, right? What the possibility was. You didn't know what was in your case. You didn't know if you had the $1 million or not. You were hoping you had the $1 million, and you would see the frustration, or the disappointment, I should say, on the faces of those that when they would say, case 10, and you open it up and case 10 had the $1 million, it was like, oh, that means I don't have the $1 million. So then you're hoping that you have the 750,000, right? Because that's still on the board and your case is still there. So hopefully you have that one, since you didn't have the $1 million one. And so they would go on. But I love the whole concept behind this game, because that's how we live our lives. We don't know what life is going to offer us in those cases. All we know is that this is the case we have. This is the life we have. And if we're going to make the most of it, we've got to make sure that we've exhausted all the other options. And I remember there was times when they would go in and, as you go in and you're calling out these cases, you could kind of, on some of their faces, see the doubt creeping in. And they would start to second guess what they had in their case. And then at some point, they would get to the point where, if they had a lot of the big numbers on the board and they eliminated a lot of the little numbers, the banker would offer them, 300 and some thousand, 200 and some thousand. And you would look and you would see, oh, they have a 200,000 and a 400,000 left. You don't know what they have in their thing. They have a penny on the board, so they could have a penny in their case. And you would see them going through that. And then they would say deal, right? And they would take it, because even if they had the 400,000, at least they're walking home with 200,000, right? But if they have the penny, they're not going home with the penny. They're going home with 200,000, right? And that was a good deal, right? And some of you are looking, you're in that same thing. You're looking at these cases and you're looking at what's on the board and you're looking at the possibilities, but you don't really understand what you have. You don't know what you have. You don't know the solutions and the accolades and the accomplishments that you have, because you haven't explored who you are yet. You haven't opened up that case to explore what's on the inside of it. And you keep allowing other people to tell you who you are, because even in this game, they were able to bring in their advisors, right? So they would bring in their, if it was a man and he was married, he would bring in his wife, his mother-in-law, his sister, cousins, his best friend on the job, whatever, to help them try to make the right decisions. But at the end of the day, it was the contestant who needed to say deal or no deal. It was the contestant that needed to call out the number on the case, right? And so at the end of the day, it's up to you to determine what it is that you are going to do. It's up to you. I can't make it for you. I can show you the possibilities. I'm the Howie in your life, right? I'm the one standing next to you, telling you and calling out from a coach's standpoint where I can see the game. You're in the midst of the game and you can't really see all of the moving parts, but I'm on the sideline and I can see all of the moving parts and I can see. And even though I too don't know what's in the cases, I've been in enough situations like this that my advice to you is valuable enough to help you deduce or come to the right conclusion for you. Sometimes it's going to pan out. Sometimes it's going to go the way you want. There were times when they had the $1 million case and they sold it for 400,000, right? So they could have went home with $1 million, but they got 400,000. They're good with the 400,000. They're willing to settle. But in the back of their mind, I'm pretty sure they're thinking, if I would have just held out, if I would have just held out, I could have been going home right now with $1 million. Right? I could have gone home. Sorry, I need to plug up my laptop so it don't go off on us. I could have gone home with $1 million. Then there were times when there was $20 in there, right? And they're going home with $150,000. So now they're happy because $20 won't even fill up my gas tank. But you've got to be in the game. You've got to be there making the decisions, the hard decisions. That's what I'm trying to get to. You got to make the hard decisions, because if you're going to be a person of purpose, the hard decisions is, you know what? I'm in this game and I don't know. I'm in this thing called life and I don't know what's in the case. I don't know everything that my life will unfold. But what I do know is that if I am strategic, if I am intentional, if I do things on purpose, if I have a game plan, I cannot lose. I cannot lose. I'm going to go home with something. It may be what I wanted to go home with, or it may be something less than what I wanted to go home with. But I'm going to go home with something. I'm going to walk out of here a winner. It's just up to me to determine what that's going to look like for me. Because I'm going to be strategic. I'm going to be intentional. And I'm going to do things on purpose. Because I know that I'm significant and I know that I deserve the best life. The good life comes to you. Actually, the good life is you woke up this morning. That's good. There are people that didn't. You have a job. That's good life. You have a house, you have a car, you have people around you that love you and care for you and support you. Even with the haters, even with those naysayers, even with those that are out to get you. There's more for you than against you. That's the good life. You got some dollars in the bank. That's the good life. Even if it's a negative dollar amount, you know that somewhere, somehow, that negative dollar amount is going to turn around and become black again. The red is going to come black again. You keep living, you keep moving, you keep breathing. Somebody is going to invest in you. Somebody is going to give you something, whether it be your job, whether it be somebody give you a birthday present, what have you. It's your perception. It's your perception that has to change. And when you start to understand that I've got to change my mindset, I've got to change the way I look at things. And I got to come in with a strategic plan. I got to plan for uncertainty, and I got to feel the fear and do it anyway. I got to just do it. Do something. Because it's either a process of elimination or that's the right thing. It's either a lesson learned or a victory won. Those are the only options you have. And it's up to you. It's up to you, dear heart. It's up to you, loved one, to do it and to do it well. I'm Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose. I just wanted to talk from my heart to your heart. I've given you a lot to think about over these 100 days. We've gone deep, probably most times deeper than I really wanted to, but I don't know how to hold back. When I'm trying to give something out to help people, I don't know how to hold it back. If you need help, get help. If you're struggling, ask for help. If you need coaching and you believe that we are a good fit, come get your 20-minute consultation. It's free. It costs you nothing but your time. And then we can see if we truly do gel. And if we gel together, be ready to make the investment in you. Be ready to do the work. Okay? That's all I ask. If we gel and it's something that you really want, be ready to do the work and make the investment, because nothing is free. There's no free lunches, baby. There's no free lunches. Everything costs. Time, energy, money, knowledge, wisdom, blood, sweat, tears, everything costs. And you can't have something if you are trying to get it with nothing. It ain't going to work. It's not going to work. So this is 100 Days of Purpose. We are on, I believe, day 96. I'm going to check that. Yeah, no, we're on day 95. I'm trying to speed up the process. So we're on day 95. We have 5 more days. Number of grace, man. We have 5 more days to do this. And these next 5 days, I'm telling you, we're going to hit it hard, because look, we got to do it. And then I'm going to continue on a weekly basis, just coming up, giving you, tidbits and tats and really just, being a little bit more involved on the social media end, so you guys can get to know Coach Linda. Because y'all see Pastor Linda, y'all see me as an author, and and I normally play down my stuff. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna stop playing it down. I'm gonna stop trying to be so humble. I'm not gonna become arrogant, but I'm gonna put my good foot down. Okay, is that all right? Can I put my good foot down? Good God Almighty, put my good foot down. Okay, and we gonna do this together. We gonna walk this out together, because I believe in practicing what I preach. I believe in being the example, and so I'm not gonna tell you to do something I'm not willing to do for myself. I have coaches. I have financial advisors. I have mentors in the spiritual, in ministry, in business, and in life, because I need them. I have people that help me write. I have people that are pushing me and investing in me, investing time, money and energy. I feel them behind me, pushing me, saying, Linda, you're better than this. Let's get it together. You have so much to offer. So start offering. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm practicing what I'm preaching. And I'm doing it right in front of you. So if I fall on my face, you're going to see me fall on my face, but you also going to see me get back up, dust myself off, and keep it moving. Because it's a lesson learned. It's a process of elimination. Because I will be a person of purpose. I will be strategic, intentional, on purpose with everything that I do, because I'm taking the sip. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm sold out. Because I know the benefits. And I understand it's going to cost me something, but it's something that I am willing to pay. Are you? Are you willing to pay the price? I hope you are. Because you, loved one, are worth it. You, dear heart, are worth every minute of life that you're given. You're worth it. You just got to believe you are. And you got to know that you are significant and that people need you. You be blessed, be encouraged. Until next time, I am Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose. And if you need me, reach out to me, destinedtobeyou.com, or you can email me, or you can hit me up right here on Facebook. I am here for you. And I will let you know. If I can't help you, I will tell you. Because look, I ain't got time to be wasted. And I'm not about to waste your time. Okay? Is that all right? All right. Here we go. Y'all know what I'm about to say. I'm Coach Linda, and I'm out.